Hey, you guys, it's about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm for the very first time going to be spending the night outside to get the records I really want. So I'm fifth in line, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you the records I got for Record Store Day, and you're going to be thinking it. So I'm just going to go ahead and admit it. Yes, I did a crazy thing. I am insane. Yes, I camped out all night at this Black Friday 2025 Record Store Day. I went to Tone Vendor in St. Augustine, Florida, 10 o'clock at night, and stayed there. And they opened at 8 that morning. So I was there all night. And I did it because there were a couple of releases that I knew were going to be extremely limited. And I knew that one thing I really wanted, I think they only had one of, maybe two, the tops. And I drove past there, my husband and I, we took a drive Thanksgiving night around 8 o'clock. There were already 4 people waiting in line. So I told my husband, instead of me just laying in bed, not being able to sleep, thinking about it, and then getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning and going and waiting in line, I'm just going to tough it out and go ahead and go there. There were other people, so I felt safe. If no one had been there, I wouldn't go and just sit there by myself, but there were other people. So I went ahead and bundled up and got out there. Before my husband left, I asked each person who was already there what they were getting. None of them wanted what I was wanting. So I knew that if I just stayed in that spot, I was going to secure the records I really wanted. Now I realize I'm in Florida and we didn't have the same weather. It was unusually cold for Florida, and it got down to 44 degrees, and we had this little beachy, cold breeze. But I will tell you, all night long I sat there, and I was pretty comfortable with the exception of my hands getting a little cold, but I had some of those hot hands things that you can squeeze on that one of the other people graciously shared with me, gave me some. But my face was really cold. I didn't have a scarf or a mask or anything, so my face got really cold. I know a lot of you, if you waited in line in Missouri or Wisconsin, there's just it was just really cold everywhere. I don't know how you sat out there in 20-degree weather, because 44 degrees with no sun and just sitting there was extremely cold. But I met some really incredible young adults, and I have a little clip of them sharing what they wanted to pick up.
Okay, what's your first name?
Caleb.
What are you here for?
I'm here for Wicked. What am I here for? Charlie Brown and The Subway by Chapel Run.
Awesome. All right. And what's your first name?
My name is Riley, and I'm here for Can't Say Anymore by Role Model.
Okay, good.
I'm Josh. I'm here for Role Model and Bob Dylan and SpongeBob.
All right. Yay. And the first person in line.
I'm Faith. I'm here for Role Model, Wicked, and Bristol Maroney and Sierra Farrell.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Yay. And here is my seat. I am in seat number 5.
They were so sweet. They were so nice. A lot of us, when we get older, we're like, oh, these young people are crazy, and blah, blah, blah. No, these young people are amazing, and I was so impressed. And it's interesting and eye-opening when you actually just get to talk to people that you normally don't get to meet and talk to. And they were an amazing bunch of kids waiting in front of me. I call them kids, and I shouldn't, because they were 18 years old through the age of 24. And they were just the nicest. They were so kind to me. And it was actually a very hard experience. I'm not going to lie, around 3, 4 o'clock, it got really brutal. But it was also, I'm glad I did it. So now let me go ahead and show you the records that I got. And I'll show you the ones that, had I not been there from 10 o'clock on, I would have missed out on. So let's go ahead and start. This is the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. This is a very popular one. They made a ton of them, 13,000 copies, I believe. This is how the original album was supposed to come out, but they took out 4 tracks to make it shorter. And I think if you find the copy, there's every once in a while, not very many copies, but some of them came out with all these extra tracks on it, and it's worth like it's a $15,000 record. So I thought it would be cool to own one, you know, just for $25 or so. One with all of the tracks. And I would say I really like all of the tracks that they deleted. There's one that I totally understand why they deleted it, because of the political commentary or things he was saying on it. Yeah, I can understand why you don't want that young artist putting that one out there really early in his career. But the songs on here, they all blend very well. So I really like this release. I think they did a good job on it. It sounds really good, and it's they did the Columbia 2i reproduction, and I think it's a really cool release. So glad I was able to get that one. That one was probably pretty easy to get. The next one is, again, another easy one, by Curtis Mayfield. This is on that Rhino Reserve. This one is the only copy I personally will ever need. I've tried to buy this record before as an original, and I've just never found a copy that I thought was clean enough. This sounds really nice, and I was glad to be able to pick this one up. I don't know how hard this one was to get, but I was able to get a copy, and I'm happy. This is the one that if I hadn't gotten there at 10 o'clock at night, I would have missed out on. I didn't know it though, because I didn't know how many copies of this record this store had. It was only at 8 o'clock in the morning when I went in to pick up the records. You know, they gave these sheets out. They gave you a number. I was number 5. I check marked all of the records I wanted, and then at 8 o'clock I came in after the first 4 people and bought these. And the lady, really sweet girl that I loved so much at this record store, a Tone Vendor in St. Augustine, Florida, she told me this one was a heartbreaker for a lot of people because we only had one copy and you got it. So it was Billy Joel live from Long Island, and I know the album cover, super cheesy, but this is how it came out. It's authentic. This is the authentic VHS tape cover. So for that reason, okay, I can handle it. Could there have been a better album cover? Sure. And also there's been some controversy about this. This was 3 LPs. It was only $50, bare bones, paper sheets, nothing, no pamphlet, no extras. But it was only $50 for 3 LPs, so I thought that was pretty good. When I read Discogs, when I entered it in, some people are saying that they received a copy where side A played a rapper named Lil Durk. I don't know who that is. I know my daughter was secretly hoping I would get the copy that played Lil Durk on side A because she would just think that was hilarious. I was hoping I didn't get that copy after waiting all night to get that record. Thankfully, mine played Allentown. I've played the whole thing. There's no Lil Durk on my copy. Some people in Discogs was making an accusation like someone's just putting that out there so that people would be scared to buy it from flippers. I don't know. Let me know. If you got this Billy Joel live from Long Island and you got Lil Durk playing on side A, let me know. I'd be curious if that's really a thing or if someone's just putting that out there to kind of put a ding into the flippers because this is selling for decent money now. It was the only copy, and because I was able to get that record, I am able to justify me being out there at 10 o'clock at night and staying out there all night long. This next one was also one that I really wanted. Now, in hindsight, I probably could have found this somewhere else if I hustled the next day, but I didn't want to do that. And I knew there was only 1 or 2 of this that was going to be available at that store. So I thought, you know, again, instead of laying awake and not being able to sleep, waiting for early morning to come, I just went ahead and sat outside. And I got the Dwight Yoakam. It's called And Then I Wrote the First 3 Albums of the 90s. I wanted this one. This was my top pick. I started playing this one when I got home and just listened to it, and I instantly had these memories of me in my Ford Probe driving around listening to Dwight Yoakam. I really got into the early 90s. There was this big surge in country music. It was a Garth Brooks, Clint Black, Alan Jackson, Dwight Yoakam, Brooks and Dunn. I mean, I think Nirvana came out and killed hair metal or hair bands. And then everybody just kind of started trying to sound like Nirvana. And I made a switch over to country because country had a little bit of a rock and roll sound. Yeah, they still had some country flavor, but they were getting a little more rock and roll at that time. I loved this, and I'm so glad I got it. It is mastered by the amazing Chris Bellman. I believe all of these were recorded digitally, but they sound great. I love Suspicious Minds. It sounds so amazing on here. Try to Not Look So Pretty is beautiful on the album this time. Fast as You is so incredible. I really love this, and I love Dwight Yoakam. It came with this booklet with an introduction written by Bob Dylan and the foreword by Chris Isaac and some really cool pictures. And the albums, again, they're just fantastic. I might have them in the wrong order right now. They all are really great. So I've been able to enjoy these, and I really wanted them. And maybe, just maybe, this box set was an exclusive. So maybe they will release all of these records separately. I don't really know, but I didn't want to take the chance. I wanted to just go ahead and have all of these. And I love this, Dwight Yoakam and Beyond. This is the album that has Suspicious Minds, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. He does a really great remake of that. There's one that the Beatles did too. What's it called? Things We Said Today. That's really, really cool. Truckin'. I mean, he does some great stuff on here. I love Dwight Yoakam. I love his country music. I love his acting career. I love him in Four Christmases. And I'll paraphrase it, but I don't know if I'll say it exactly right. But he says, "And Mary swaddled the baby and laid him in a manger." If you've watched Four Christmases, you know that reference. And if you haven't seen that movie, you should. It's hilarious. I love having that box set. And that one and the Billy Joel records are the reason, the Billy Joel record, they're the reasons I stayed up and sat out there all night long. It was an interesting experience. I don't know if I would do it again, especially when it got down to 44 degrees. But I have no regrets of doing it at least once. Now, these are the last 2 records that I think I probably could have found later. I wasn't as worried about. But since I was already there and I was there and spent 10 hours waiting, I thought, I'm going to go ahead and get them. And it's Van Halen Live at Wembley 1995. Now look at this album cover. Whoever's doing this is just me. I'm a huge Van Halen fan. I'm just going to say the back should have been the front and the front should have been the back, because that is such a cool picture of Van Halen. Eddie looks particularly good there. I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't put the band's photo. Maybe they can't. Maybe there's reasons that I don't understand. It's a good one. Now, I will say this is not the best sounding live album I have. It's not the worst. It's not the best. So as a person who likes to listen to audiophile music, no, this would never do. As a diehard fan, this is incredible. The song When It's Love, the way Eddie's playing his guitar, and it just has this live vibe, and it's different than the studio version I'm so used to. It gave me goosebumps. Seventh Seal and Feelin'. Balance is my favorite Sammy Hagar album. Balance is my favorite album, I should say, and those 2 are 2 of the tracks that I absolutely love. They sound great. Although I do find it funny, I saw on side 1 the on the label, they're crediting David Lee Roth instead of Sammy Hagar. I thought that was very interesting. I love this. Even though it doesn't sound the best, you have to listen to it as a diehard fan and you will love it. It's really good. I enjoy it very much. So I'm glad I have it. If you had the Balance box set that came out earlier this year, you probably already have this live set, but I didn't buy that. I bought the Balance on orange vinyl, independent record store version, and this one was orange vinyl, and I think it's really good. And finally, I also bought Miles Davis live at the Unplugged Nickel. You know, again, this was one that was lower on the list, but since I was going to sit out there and suffer, I was going to reward myself, and I went ahead and picked this one up too. And it's good. It's really, you know, there is a box set you can buy. I think it's like a 10 LP set or something like that you can buy. I think having the 2 LPs is enough of a flavor of that performance. Unbelievable performance on here, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I love studio recordings of jazz records a little bit better than live performances, but I do really like live performances, and this one sounds pretty good. It's not one of my best sounding jazz live records I own, but I really enjoy this. I think it's really good. So, you guys, I know it was absolutely crazy of me to get out there at 10 o'clock at night and sit out there all night. And you know what, though? Some people had been sitting out there a lot longer. And they told me they just wanted to know it was worth it to them to sit out there to know they were going to get what they wanted and they weren't going to have to play that chase game after. So I get that. And they were a great group of people to meet and to talk to. I got to meet some incredible people, and it was a lot of fun in some ways and was a lot of suffering in others. Will I do it again? I don't really know. I don't know if I'd do it again, especially at my age. I am 55 years old. It's not as easy for me as maybe it would have been 20 years ago if I'm not, if I'm telling the truth. So let me know what you ended up getting for Record Store Day. And if you like any of these releases, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the like button, but most importantly, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.